Hello everybody, hope everybody's doing great today. Appreciate those of you who watch this video. I hope you enjoy it. And today we talk about Superman 3. This is an old movie, so I'm sure a lot of you who's been watching this review have already seen it. So leave some comments below. What did you like about this movie? What do you not like about this movie? What's your memories from it? Honestly, this is the first time I've seen this movie from beginning to end, least that I can remember. I might have saw it from beginning to end when I was a kid, but just didn't remember it. My most memories I've seen that I do remember about this movie is always watching like the end where he's fighting the computer and trying to destroy it before it destroys the world. For some reason, every time it's on TV, I always catch the ending. I never catch the beginning. So this is the first time that I remember that I actually watched it from beginning to end. And just let me tell you, right off the bat, I knew this was going to be a terrible movie. It's really bad. I think, honestly, everybody gives number 4 a lot of crap, saying number 4 is the worst one. I think number 3 is the worst one. Tries too hard to be funny, too hard to be comedic, and none of the jokes really work in this movie. So like I said, right off the bat, you can just tell that this is not going to be a very good movie. They got this little comic scene, where there's something going on in the streets, and, it's just causing chaos, and it's meant to be funny. And he's like, this is stupid. It's not funny whatsoever. Then they have the credits, the opening credits on like below the action that's going on the screen onto like the streets instead of having it in outer space like the first 2 movies and in Superman 4. And it just doesn't work. It's visually terrible. It's just like puke. It's disgusting. It's just like the worst thing that I've ever seen on the screen. They're trying to do that, where the credits are kind of strolling up, imagine Star Wars credits. Instead of having it in outer space, though, you're having it on New York streets and sidewalks. I don't know. It looks visually horrible. I don't understand why they kept it like that. Like, surely they could see that is not working that way. Those opening credits wasn't working visually whatsoever, and that it just looked terrible. So I mean, they must have been very determined to keep it that way, because it just doesn't work. Okay, I went on a minute about how bad the credits are, but yeah. So once you watch this movie, you're in for a horrible movie. Plus, this movie doesn't have Gene Hackman as Lex Luthor. I mean, Gene Hackman's is basically like what made Superman's like the first 2. Like, he was the standout character, the standout actor. And anytime I do picture a Lex Luthor on the big screen, even with the modern day Superman movies, I always picture Gene Hackman. I think he is like top tier Lex Luthor. Like, he played the character so well. So this movie is definitely missing Gene Hackman here. They got some other villain, he's a big business mongol, just like Gene Hackman. He's trying to make more money, and they're trying to steal money through computers and trying to, bend the system a little bit. And that's basically like the whole premise of this. And you have Richard Pryor, who kind of stumbles upon the way to use computers to steal money from banks and so forth, to become rich. It seems at the beginning of the movie he has no idea, nothing to do, doesn't know anything about computers, but he ends up taking classes to learn computers. And then somehow he becomes this computer genius, and because he's able to stumble upon some kind of formula that's able for him to cheat the system so that he could rob. First he robs his own company, and then when the boss finds out, he's upset, but he's like, I could use this guy to rob other corporations. And then there's very little Lois Lane in this. Supposedly, the thing is, I guess the cast was very upset that they fired the first director, Richard Donner, so there was like a big rebellion, I guess you could say, in the cast. And so they punish Margaret Kidder, is that how you say her name? The lady who played Lois Lane, I guess she's the one who got punished, so they kind of gave her like 2 minutes of screen time. And, so Clark Kent goes back to his hometown in Kansas and, kind of reunites his love interest, his first love. You do got kind of like that little storyline about first loves, getting over that first love that you have. if you have a first love, have you gotten over her? Are you married her or him? I guess I'd say him or her. Are you still in love with them? If you guys broke up and you met him today, what would it be like? Would those flames reunite that you used to have? For me, no, they're pretty much drenched and died out. In fact, I probably wouldn't even see my first love because nothing to say to her. Now I'm talking like very blocked. Anyways, let's get back into the movie. Enough about first loves. But yeah, leave us comments below. If you have your first love, a chance to get back with them, what would you do? Would you do it? Would you not do it? Would you try to get back with them? Would you stay away from them? Only if you want to. I'm pretty sure none of you really care about that. So let's get back to the movie. So this movie does have like the bad Superman versus the good Superman, and this scene where you get the bad Superman versus the good Superman, to me it's kind of like, I don't know, kind of confusing, and it doesn't really work for me. Just because first off, Superman turns bad because our villains here, they're able to get some kryptonite, and somehow they're able to kind of like brainwash him into doing evil things. You know, he's like stealing oil and I don't know, just doing un-Superman-like characteristical stuff. Sorry, that just didn't come out right. But he's not being Superman, right? He's not acting like himself, and he's turned into a villain. I like the whole idea, though, like the wicked Superman is the one with the beard. He's all scruffy looking, and then the good Superman is all clean shaving. I don't know. Is this your early critique on toxic masculinity? You know, when you think about somebody being a man, a masculine, it's always them being like, you know, unshaven, not really having their hair combed, stuff like that. So I guess this is the 80s version of toxic masculinity. Who knows? But like the whole scene where it's Superman versus Superman, I don't understand like how this works, because he stops, you know, he lands into a junkyard, and then he kind of have like an outer body experience, and he's like steps outside of his own body, and then he starts fighting himself. Just what I don't know. I just don't really get that. Like Superman has split. Not only does he have split personalities, he has split personas, I guess. I think this would be more efficient, and it would be better, make more sense, I guess you could say, if it was like happening in a dream, like he's in a dream-like state, like he's really sick, and then, we see him kind of dreaming, and you kind of enter the mind, so it's kind of like in his mind, we see him fighting with his subconscious, trying to regain his own personality, his own being back, instead of the direction they went. That didn't work. Like everything they try to do in this movie doesn't really work per se. It's like a big failure. I will say though, the big fight between Superman versus Superman kind of reminds me of Army of Darkness, when Ash, he gets split in two and he's fighting himself. I don't know, man. I just have flashbacks of that movie, and that movie, it works a lot better than this movie because it's a fantasy movie. It actually makes sense that he could fight himself physically because he actually does split into two. While this movie, he just steps out of his body and has like an outer body experience. Go figure. So the movie also talks about how the computers could be able to just take over the world, start to interfere with like the military and stuff like that, which is kind of like a common theme in the 80s when you think about it. You have war games, Terminator, the idea of computers just being able to become self-conscious, I guess you can say, and take over the world. Today, we call it artificial intelligence. Back then, it was the computers doing it all. I guess originally they want to have Brainiac in this movie, and it kind of still incorporated Brainiac, being able to control computers and stuff like that. But instead, it just had a computer doing it. You have it basically grabbing a woman and then wrapping her up in computer hardwire. stuff like that, stuff like that for her to become a villain. I kind of feel sorry for Richard Pryor because he wanted to do this movie to get away from comedy. You know, he wanted to prove they can do some serious material, and then it kind of feels like the writer and the director is like, we have Richard Pryor, so we got to lean heavy onto the comedy stuff. So it's kind of ruined Richard Pryor's plans. Believe it or not, I think Brewster's Million was more of a drama in this, and probably why Richard Pryor might have been more interested in that one, because it wasn't so comedic. You know, Brewster Millions was more of a drama than a comedy, and they kind of made Superman 3 a comedy, and it was a very terrible comedy, very terrible movie altogether. So I'm not going to recommend this at all unless you just want to see all of Christopher Reeve movies. You know, all of his movies, are like all the Christopher Reeve Supermans. I still believe Christopher Reeve is probably the best Superman. He does a fantastic job with Superman. It's just the story is terrible. The movie's horrible. And like I said, I think this is the worst Superman out of the four. Many people might disagree with me, but this is definitely, to me, my personal thing. I would rather watch Superman 4 than Superman 3. Hope you enjoyed this. Let me know your comments below. What do you think about Superman 3? Did you like it? Do you think it's the best? Am I completely wrong? Or is it the third best? Which, you know, there's only 4 of the Christopher Reeve movies. Anyways, thank you for your patience. Have a great day, and bye.